up, Rad family? Today I am just feeling like spreading some information, so without much talk about intro words, yes. What's up, Rad family? This week I have been on a random fact kick. Kick? Is that the right word? So that inspired this week's video. I wanted to do a fact compilation, but I didn't want it to be so random. I wanted it to be about stuff you guys would be interested in. So I figured, well, what does the Rad family like? They like gaming. So today's video is the 22 most interesting, hopefully you haven't heard before, facts on gaming. Is that a really long title? I'm gonna stop my blabbering and let's get to it. Tetris was created in 1984 by Russian programmer Alexei Pajitnov, but since he conceived it while working at the Academy of Science of the USSR, the rights belonged to the state of Russia, and as such, he did not see a single penny of residual revenue until 12 years later in 1996 when the rights finally reverted back to him. The Fallout and Elder Scrolls games do not have any climbable ladders. According to Bethesda's Todd Howard, introducing ladders that were actually functional caused Al big problems. So developers decided they weren't worth the hassle and left them out of the games. Mario from the famous Nintendo series Super Mario Bros. Is actually named after Mario Segal, the landlord of Nintendo's very first American office. Lawsuits filed against Grand Theft Auto have totaled over $1 billion. $1 billion! How? That's a lot of zeros. But luckily for the franchise, for the most part, the majority of the lawsuits have been thrown out as they have been deemed frivolous. One of the most famous of these lawsuits comes with the latest installment of the franchise, when American actress Lindsay Lohan filed suit claiming that the cover girl seen in many of the promotional posters was based off of her likeness without permission. Yeah, I don't see it. If you're currently a student in school, this next fact may cause some envy. Apparently, Minecraft is part of the school curriculum in Stockholm, Sweden. The game is used to teach young teenagers about city planning, environmental issues, and even how to plan for the future. While Simlish is a fictional language used in EA's Sim series, it is actually based on a combination of different languages, including Ukrainian, French, Latin, Finnish, Icelandic, English, Fijian, Cubano, and Tagalog. The fact that developers even devoted that much time to making this language only for it to sound like irritating gibberish to our ears is quite funny. Buzz Aldrin, a famous American astronaut and the second man to ever step foot on the moon, makes a voice cameo at the end of Mass Effect 3. While his cameo is not the most important feature of the game, it's just pretty neat. Final Fantasy got its name because Square was going bankrupt, leaving Hironobu Sakaguchi about to lead video game design. Never expecting the series to be such a success, he saw this game as his farewell to the gaming world. Pokemon Gold and Silver was supposed to mark the end of the franchise in 1999. Pokemon CEO Tsunaka Ishihara thought it was time to focus on a new series as they enter the 21st century. Something tells me his bank account is very happy that those plans did not go through. Believe it or not, because I know this fact sounds completely absurd and you're gonna Google it right away to see if it's true, the legit reason why there's no opening cutscene in Tomb Raider Legend is because one of the programmers forgot to include the coding before the final build. But because Ito still wanted to ship the game on schedule, they left it how it was. How did no one notice that such an important cutscene was left out? The thick fog that has become iconic to the Silent Hill series is actually there to mask the scenery loading delay. The fact that it adds to the tense atmosphere is just a bonus. The spies of Team Fortress were inspired by a glitch that caused players' clothes to change to the same colors of the enemy team. Instead of fixing the bug, they decided to make it into a player class. In 1982, two MIT students decided they wanted to make their own arcade game called Crazy Auto. They built it by modifying a Pac-Man game. Midway saw what they had created, liked it, and bought it from the two students. They then replaced Auto by a bow-wearing Pac-Man and labeled it as Miss Pac-Man. Sony's PlayStation was originally planned to be a CD-ROM add-on to the Super Nintendo, but the day after Sony's announcement, Nintendo broke the deal with Sony by partnering with Philips instead. Sony decided, we don't need them, and went on with the plans for the PlayStation anyway. And the PlayStation went on to be super successful, so I bet whoever made that decision at Nintendo is kicking themselves in the butt still. The super mushrooms that make Mario shrink and grow resemble the characteristics that of real-life Amanita muscaria, which if ingested can cause hallucinations that screw up your perception of size. Developers claim that any resemblance is just a coincidence, but I have a feeling one of the developers experimenting in college. Lara Croft's iconic large breasts were not planned. Toby Gard, one of the people in charge of developing Lara's character, accidentally increased her chest size by 150% instead of the intended 50%. They liked it so much that they kept it. I wonder why. Kirby was originally a placeholder for a yet-to-be designed character. Game designer Mashiro Sakurai placed a circle into the game as he was designing it, intending to create another character later on. But as time went on, he grew quite fond of this little circle. So he developed a few more details to give it some personality, and thus Kirby was born. The first video game Easter egg was created by a disgruntled Atari employee. Warren Robinette was the sole programmer on a video game called Adventure. After finding out he wouldn't receive credit for his work, he created a secret room that had his name written on the floor as his way to get recognition. By the time it was discovered, the game was already on the shelves. That leads us to our next fact. Atari decided they wouldn't let Robinette get the last laugh, so they told the public this was an intentional hidden treasure and coined the term Easter egg. So next time you find an Easter egg, think of it as those developers were paying homage to this Warren. Earthbound originally had a naked level. Yes, you heard that right. I said naked. When Ness travels to Magicant, his clothes suddenly disappear. But wanting to avoid controversy, in the American version, we see him rocking pajamas instead of bare butt cheeks. Donkey Kong was originally supposed to be a hero, not a villain. According to the game's manual, Donkey Kong was Mario's pet, but he had escaped after Mario had mistreated him. Knowing this, I cannot look at it the same. This puts an entirely new spin on the game. So now whenever I see Donkey Kong throwing barrels at Mario, I kind of feel bad for the guy. Atomic Bomberman was originally created with an extensive vocabulary that would even make a sailor blush. Apparently, the disc contains voice tracks for a number of colorful, to say the least, exclamations. While they weren't incorporated into the game for apparent reasons, the voice tracks were still there. My mind is rattling from all this new information. Now I see games I played as a child in a completely new light, and I don't think I'm ready for that. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. If I was able to share any mind-blowing gaming facts with you, please share this video with a friend so that they can get their mind blown too. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and until next time, bye!